and welcome back to the On the Gas podcast. This week I am joined with Cameron, and you may be
Hello.
wondering where Deck is. So, we are here to tell you guys about a new venture, you could say, a new path.
Yeah, change is
And
afoot, I would say. So the reason that Deck isn't here is Deck is still part of the podcast, but he's a busy bee these days. Over the winter period, obviously, none of you have heard from us whatsoever, really. We've been quiet, and I think everybody's lives are progressing as they do, and Deck is taking some time to kind of step back as perhaps the face of the podcast. Deck will still be involved. He'll be more behind the scenes, but this is part of why we've decided to shake things up a bit. And yeah, we're going to change the podcast, which Lauren is going to kick us off and tell us what's actually happening here.
Yeah, so fear not, guys. Deck is definitely still going to be involved, so don't you worry. And I think once he sees us chatting, he'll want to
He'll
jump
be
back in anyway.
screaming at the things that we say, saying that's wrong. No. Yeah, he'll have to get involved. He
Yeah.
won't stay away.
Yeah, he's only ever missed one episode of the podcast while Cameron and I have both been involved. So
Which
I
is
know
years. Yeah.
exactly. I know that he'll probably be back sooner rather than later. But for now, yes, taking a back seat. So Cameron and I, over the winter alongside Deck, sort of talked about what we want to do with On the Gas. So obviously, in the summertime, we decided to take a bit of a rebrand and step away from the Everything Motor Racing brand. And obviously, we explained all of that at the time, why we decided to do that. But heading into winter, we sort of all had a discussion and talked about how we can move this podcast forward to make it better for not only us, but for you guys, the listeners, as well. So, in saying that, there is going to be probably less podcast episodes. We're not going to keep up with the weekly running theme that we were doing, talking about MotoGP week in, week out. We're going to take the approach of becoming a more interview style based podcast. So we have got some guests lined up already, which I'm not going to disclose just yet, but there is some exciting names that we have lined up to kick us off before all racing series begin this year. So yeah, it's going to be more occasional special episodes. We don't have a number on how many, we're going to put out, so we'll keep you guys on your toes with that one. But yeah, just think of it as a lot of the podcasts that you guys probably listen to already and that we're big fans of as well. So we've taken a lot of inspiration from, say, Off Track podcasts. Dave Neal over there doing a great job.
Big up.
Yeah, we've got the Gypsy Tales, we've got Chasing the Racing. There's so many great podcasts out there that we look up to, and we've thought, how can we sort of move into a similar style but also differentiate from them? We want to sort of, I don't know, take a step in another direction and create something that we're going to be really, really proud of and take it into the start of the season and sort of go a bit more, I don't think behind the scenes is the word that we wanted to use, but sort of speak to people. That is something that we've always been big on this podcast, is we love like thinking about what goes on in the rider's head, seeing the rider underneath the helmet. We talk about crew chiefs, mechanics, people running social media, PR people, funding, sponsorship. Like, we talk about everything on the podcast. So we think bringing that to a more interview sort of style podcast could be really, really interesting. We want to know more about it and we want to learn more about it. So we think bringing you guys along is sort of a really, really good way to do that.
Yes. So essentially, we're going to become more about the people and not just the racing. We're hopefully going to have a bit of a focus on the domestic classes and the grassroots racing. We'll still be talking about MotoGP news and chat, gossip, rumors, all that stuff. Of course, it's the pinnacle of the sport, so to speak. So what are we doing here? Well, essentially, we want to help bike racing fans get closer to the sport just by hosting in-depth, community-driven interviews with the people shaping the sport. And I may have given it a little bit away there, this community-driven section. So we're going to open a Discord community. It is already open. We will leave a link in the description, and it's free to join. You can come in and just chat with us and see what's going on. And if you want to know about the guests that we've got coming up, then do join the Discord and all will be revealed. We are going to be opening up a Patreon community as well, where we'll have some private channels in the Discord. You'll be able to submit questions for the special guests that we've got coming on. We will also be having a little bit of a MotoGP Guru Predictions League for Patreon subscribers. So one of our favorite things about this podcast was the predictions that we were doing week in and week out and how infuriating Deck was getting. So if you want to join in, see if you can dethrone Deck as the undisputed champ of predictions.
Because we can't. We've tried for 2 years now.
Yeah,
we can't
we've
do
changed,
it.
We've changed the scoring systems. We've done all sorts of stuff. And yet, Deck continues to go undefeated. So if you want to get involved with that, join the Patreon where we can get involved with MotoGP Guru. We have a little predictions league in there. And also, you can actually win legit prizes with MotoGP Guru. So I think, what is it? They give away like a Panigale V4S, a Gresini one, like every year, I think.
Yeah.
Might be changing, next year. Who knows? But the prizes are legit. So, I mean, that could be worth getting involved with. Anyway, and there'll just be more stuff to follow as we grow, as we hear from you all, as people are joining the community. We'll bring out stuff, and yeah, we're going to grow with you, essentially. This is going to be community driven. How many times am I going to say community in this? I don't know. But if you fancy joining the Patreon, there's going to be a link down below. It is, oh my goodness, I think it's just patreon.com/onthegas. Nice and easy. But like I said, there'll be a link down below. It's $7 a month, which is about a $5. Patreon like to do things in dollars, but you don't need to worry about any of that. And yeah, that I think is kind of the big changes. So you're going to be seeing more of our mugs.
Sorry.
Which, I mean, lucky you, right? So yeah, bit less of Deck.
Bit more of us.
Discord, Patreon.
Everyone's happy.
Everyone's happy. It's going to be great. So please do join the Discord. And if you've got ideas for guests as well that you'd like us to speak to, ideas for episodes, just let us know. This Discord's going to be a big group chat. It's going to be a lot of fun. So just get involved. Have I got anything else to say?
No,
Have you got anything else to say?
I think that is pretty much everything. You've covered it pretty well. So yeah, Discord, but also follow us over on Instagram and TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts from. There are things coming in the very, very near future. So you want to be making sure that you follow us so you guys are the first to hear who our new guests are and when we are going to be dropping the first proper episode of the year. So yeah, follow us on everything.
Amazing. Thanks so much for listening. And have a wonderful 2025, everyone.
Because we know we will.
Hell yeah. Peace.